Welcome to my messy life. Take my hand and dive right on in with me. It's gonna be alright. Messy imperfect life with Leigh.
Hi, Molly, Collie.
Hi, waIked.
You said that so lovingly.
I have lots of love in my heart for you.
I know, but you went from like this kind of playful thing to, hi, waIked. You'll be more comfortable over there.
You'll be more comfortable. That's what Karina said.
So I'm having a little bit of a hard time because Molly's in town. And last night we went out. And we went out after we went out. And then Molly's like, can we please go home? Because it's 3 hours later where I live. And I said, no, please don't ask again.
Yeah.
I have another cocktail to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she picked up dinner at the super expensive Craig's restaurant. And so I had to come back this morning. And I just decided to wear the same outfit I slept in and went out in last night. Because I thought.
It works for day or evening.
It works for podcast from nighttime to
That's right.
morning time.
Yeah.
And my kids came in and I did kind of an old school thing last night. I heated up a pizza and ate it in my bed.
I'm impressed you heated it up because, a lot of times you can just get it cold and it just rolls out fine to do that.
I put it in the microwave, got in bed and ate it. And then my daughter came in this morning. She's like, get up. She's very demanding, Audrey. Get up. It's time to take me to camp. I'm like, all right already. I got to get the pizza out of my mouth and like get a cup of water. No, I said, would you please bring me some water? She's like, no, you need to get up. I was like, I would have brought her water.
Yeah. Kids.
Seriously. Why do they keep waking me up and saying things to me all the time?
Well, because you need to drive them. I mean, and when they drive themselves, they won't wake you up. They just leave.
Oh my gosh. Eve's 8. So I have 8 more years of being woken up. And then once Eve's driving, I can sleep in once.
Yeah.
I look forward to that day.
I mean, we can put it on the calendar, and that's a big
in
celebration.
8 years, great things
we
are
won't
coming.
wake you up to celebrate. We'll just wait till later in the day when you're already awake, and then we'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll celebrate that.
Parenting is so interesting. It never stops. I like to sometimes go out, kick up my heels, and then, they don't care. They rake me over the coals for it and say, why did you get home so late? Be a parent. Get up. I'm like, I got you guys. Get out of my room.
Well, the movie Parenthood, when it came out all those years ago with Steve Martin and Mary Steenburgen, they didn't, I didn't have children. It was a long time ago, but I remember watching it and there was a line, Jason Robards, the dad of Steve Martin's character, said something about his kid was in his 30s. And essentially there is no touchdown dance on that. So it doesn't matter if they're 35 or if they're 8 or, mine are 23, there's no touchdown dance in this deal.
What does that mean, touchdown dance?
That you think, woohoo, we get to the end, we spike the ball, we're all set,
stops.
they're done. No, it never stops.
And no matter what age they go to, it's a new stage
worry
for us.
Yeah, it's a new worry.
It's a new thing to conquer.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're not going to wake you up and they just leave because they're driving, but then they're driving, so you're going to worry.
Then I'm going to wake up.
Yeah. Then you're going to wake up because then
I don't know if I really will, though.
I probably didn't either. But I'm just
most
saying
moms,
that for most
moms
moms
would wait up and go, where's my kid? And I'd be like,
Yeah.
my kid's not home. I'm going to sleep, set an alarm, and she's grounded.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, why wring hands?
No.
You've already decided they're grounded. You've just decided.
I've already done the punishment.
So I can go to sleep now because they're already grounded.
But I don't worry that much. It's very strange. I enjoy not worrying because I don't think one positive thing comes from it.
Right.
But I don't worry, like, I don't let my mind go crazy because I'm like, that's not going to help anything. It's going to make me too fired up. If nothing bad's happening, then she's just grounded. If something bad happens, then I'll react when I find out that bad happened.
I think that's a good approach. I'm not sure everybody can take that approach, but yeah, I think you're just borrowing trouble when you worry. I mean, you're
creating trouble for yourself. Why do you look so pretty after we stayed out so late last night?
Oh, you are so sweet. I'm going to stick with you all the time if you'll say that every day. I don't know that I feel that way right about now.
So Molly Collie is, and she has one of those names that it's all one name. Like it's her first name and last name, but I've never said it just your first name.
Yeah. A lot of people do that.
Molly Collie.
Molly Collie. It just works.
And then my assistant Alicia said that when she Googled you, and then you already knew, what is it? When you Google Molly Collie.
It's a lot of dogs. It's a lot of collie dogs that are Molly the Collie. And there's a children's book. So just a little plug for that children's cardboard book with a tail on it that bobbles around. Yeah, it's real fun. So I'm staying one ahead of the law that way, I think, when it's you Google me and it's a dog.
Will you share? Because I just I have this paper, but I don't know why.
Please don't make me put glasses on.
She printed it very big for me, though, so I don't have to put my glasses
nice.
on. Molly Collie. I knew that part already. Senior Executive Specialist Oncology with some biotech, Janssen.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I didn't know that. That one sentence I had on, that was all I had here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know that you...
It's a fancy word for drug rep.
Oncologist, so you deal with cancer patients.
Centers. Yeah, cancer centers. So I work with the doctors at the cancer centers.
Oh, you're doing a good thing. Products.
Yeah, I've done it for 20 years.
And what was your title?
Johnson Senior Executive Oncology Specialist. I know it sounds super fancy.
You're
it's just
fancy.
Really for 20 years with Johnson & Johnson because it's a Johnson & Johnson company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's good. It's been a good job.
I want to hear you tell the story of how we met.
Okay. Well, I'm a huge Chiefs fan.
Go Chiefs!
Go Chiefs. Go Patrick Mahomes.
Wait, what's our Chiefs cheer?
Well, I don't know.
Eat 'em up, KSU. No, that was from college.
Yeah, no.
Give a cheer for Kansas City, loud and clear, the red and gold. As the Chiefs march on to victory, like the mighty Chiefs. Chiefs. I think that was from the 70s, though, when I was little.
I like it, though. I think you should bring it back.
I'm going to bring it back.
I think you should.
It's kind of like bringing sexy back.
Bring Chiefs back. I like it. I like it. Yeah, so I'm a Chiefs fan, and you're a Chiefs fan. You're a Chiefs fan. So during the football season, I'm all things Chiefs, hashtag and looking up every post that sort of comes through. And there was one with you and Dave and another Melissa Etheridge in Hawaii watching the Chiefs. And I follow Melissa Etheridge. So I was like, oh my gosh, who are these fun people, chiefing it up with Melissa? And so then it took me down the trail, the internet sleuthing, found who you were and then I found your page about Messy Imperfect Life on Facebook. And then I commented on it. And then a friend of mine from high school that I hadn't talked to truly since high school was like, she's going to have this workshop in March. And so I said, yeah. I just said yes and came out.
You did say yes and. Mm-hmm. She flew out from Texas for my workshop in March.
Yep.
And I knew you still just a tiny bit, right? Because we just corresponded or commented
kind of messaged, I think, back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
And then I have a mastermind group where I help people take things out of their beautiful minds and bring it into their reality. And she's part of my mastermind group. So that's why you're here right now.
I know. It's great.
I'm discovering what's happening right now.
I love it. You're being very present. That you're really present.
I'm so present.
Yes. Yeah. So that was really cool. It's cool how one thing builds on another and leads you down this path. I mean, truly, being Chiefs fans has really nothing to do with what we're doing now. But that's what was the connection. That was the common connection initially. It's that we were big Chiefs fans.
And you were talking yesterday, we were working on, she's writing a fantastic book. And we were talking about one of the chapters and you said something about an idea about have a team, right?
Be a fan.
Be a fan.
Yeah.
Be a fan. And I was like, be a fan? Why? And she said, because that's how we met. It builds community. You're instantly connected to other people through some event that's fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's how we got together.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there is a community, I think, when you, find any team. I'll give an example. I have this wonderful bonus daughter, and she's not about sports, but she decided she was about a particular hockey team. And it's brought a lot of joy that she didn't really expect or go looking for because she wasn't really into a lot of sports. But I think when you become a fan of something, then you have a camaraderie. If you walk into any sports bar in any other place, you even don't know anything, the game's on, you're
talking to everyone around you.
You have community. Yeah. So I do think there's a lot of fun with fan, whether you go in person to games, which I've spent my whole life going to different football games, University of Texas. We've talked a little bit about those rivalries that we know from our families.
Yeah. So your dad went to Texas
University
Tech?
of Texas. And he went to University of Texas. I went to Texas Tech.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that a big deal?
No, he was fine with that. I was wanting to leave Austin, where I grew up.
Oh, I see.
And go away to school because I'd gone to UT essentially my whole life with my dad.
I'm coming to Austin in January.
And you're just now telling me this.
She's
just now telling me this.
Well, you're telling me a lot about me because you said, aren't you going on a trip soon? And I go, I don't think so. And you go, yeah, I think you're leaving this week. And I go, I think I go on Thursday. And you go, that's tomorrow. And I go, oh, yes, I am. I'm going to go visit my friend up in Tahoe.
Yeah.
And go to Wanderlust or something.
Well, that sounds fun. But if you're coming to Austin, you got to come.
Oh, I'm coming in January. Yeah, January 8th. I'm speaking at E-Women's Network event.
Well, then I've got to... Leisha needs to send me a link to that, and I got to come.
You have to come.
I'll come.
I think I might do something after, though. Whatever. I got to figure it out. Yeah.
But you'll be in my,
Yeah. I'm going to speak for a short time, but I might keep the room and do a little workshop after.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. I've got lots of friends there.
That'd be wonderful.
We can just gather. We can do a league gathering.
Let's gather, girl.
Yeah.
Let's make a Leigh fan club, and then brings people together.
Because it's being a fan.
Right?
It's being a fan.
It doesn't have to be
It's Team Leigh.
It's Team Leigh.
It's Team Leigh. And we're going to be super fans. And we're all going to get together. And I know some good places we can go eat there, too. So.
Oh, my gosh. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to come to Austin because,
have you never been there?
No, I've never been there.
Really?
And people go on and on about it.
Yeah.
How cool it is, the music scene and the food and the vibe and all that good stuff.
It was a great place to grow up. It was when I was in elementary school in the early 70s, it was 250,000 people. And it's definitely close to 1 million now. And the metro area, it's huge. It's a cool town though. And University of Texas was a big part of that, me growing up and running around that campus and going to sporting events. My dad was probably the first big super fan.
Did he play quarterback?
No, he didn't play any sports in college.
Why do I feel like there were quarterbacks in your lineage?
No.
I just made that up.
Yeah, you kind of made that up.
All right.
But that's okay. I mean, there may have been some. My daughter would have liked to have been. Let's put it that way. Well, she would have played sports if she wanted. If she would have played football if I let her. She played basketball.
And you are a family of very tall people.
We are very tall people. Yeah, my son is 6'7". I have twins. Like you, we have boy and girl twins.
Yeah.
Mine are 23, and my son is 6'7", and my daughter's 6 feet.
And how tall was their father?
He was just about 6'11".
Her husband was 6'11", super cute, and his name was Ray.
Yes, and he played college basketball for Texas Tech. And that's how we met. But he's from Kansas City.
Yeah.
He grew up in Kansas City. He was born in Kansas City. Graduated from Blue Springs.
Blue Springs.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Lots of
connection.
KC connection.
And so there was some sport guy. So he played in college.
Yeah, he played college. He played basketball.
There was something. I just got confused what sport and who he played.
We talk a lot of different sports.
Yeah.
We were talking football. It's a natural.
And we had a little hiccup because I was talking about OU, and you were saying that's Texas
University of Texas.
Right.
Rival.
I get them all confused.
That's all right.
But you said that's the greatest rival.
Yeah, that Red River shootout that happens in Dallas every year in October between OU and University of Texas is huge. Yeah, it's a big fun weekend. It takes place at the old Cotton Bowl Stadium, and even before they were in the same conference, both being Big 12, they had this big, state rivalry thing, and it is such a fun weekend. The Texas State Fair goes on that weekend too. It's
when
amazing.
Is it?
It's in October. This year it's October 12th.
You're coming to my event in October, right?
Yeah, it's the next weekend.
Oh, good.
But I'm not going to Texas OU this year. I usually try to go, but I can't go this weekend that year.
I have an event here in Los Angeles, 2.5-day event. It's going to be awesome. Some celebrity guests coming.
I am so excited.
Yeah. I think you're going to be happy with people who come. But Molly's coming in for it. And if you want to meet Molly in person, she's pretty awesome. Come.
Yeah. It's
October 18 through 20.
I'm really looking forward to that.
It's going to be special.
Yeah. Well, this whole thing has been really special. The workshop was great in March. And that really was one of those things where you just go, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. And then stayed with this friend of mine from high school that I hadn't seen really truly forever, who was saying, come
See how Leigh Club or Leigh Fan Club?
Team Leigh.
That's it.
Team
Leigh brings
community,
yeah.
camaraderie. Yeah.
It was neat because I had 2 girls come from my high school.
Yes.
Sisters.
Yeah.
I love that. There were like 3 pairs of sisters.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I met Minda briefly before, who's in the mastermind.
Did you sit over there? Like if I was looking at the crowd, were you over there?
I was to your right.
And
if
Minda
you're looking
was
at
there.
the crowd. Yeah. We were across the room from each other. But I think there was a break and I got to meet Minda, who's also in our mastermind, who's wonderful. Beautiful jewelry maker. Oh my gosh.
Her jewelry's amazing. Oh, this is.
I know, and I don't have mine on, my Minda today, but
That's
I
'cause
wore
I
it last night.
Slept in this outfit.
I'm pretty impressed that you were able to sleep in all the necklaces and they didn't get all.
I slept in all this.
Choke you.
And ate pizza in it.
I mean, the connected one is great. I'm glad it didn't hurt you in your sleep. So that's big.
That's big. We went to see Marianne Williamson last night.
We did.
Yeah. You know, she's something else, isn't she?
She's
like a little feisty powerhouse.
She is a dynamo. Yeah, she's
tiny.
Yeah, she was a real dynamo in a very small package in that way. But wow, I mean, it was a great message. It was great. It was a great community of people who were there. I mean, regardless,
it was a funky mix, wasn't it?
Yeah, and regardless of what your politics, her message that she's been doing for 35 years is love.
It's love,
and so that was wonderful. Yeah,
and I think anytime you bring love into anything, it's a win-win.
Well, if you come at it from love and light, and I do agree. I mean, there's a lot of things on the way that can trip you up, but I think if you're still coming from that place in your heart when you're setting out to do it, yeah.
Love, love, love.
I do like the Beatles, but I'm not going to sing that with you. I'm not going to sing that this morning after cocktails and steaks and stuff at Craig's.
Oh, and we ate a steak at we ate a filet at Craig's, which is my favorite piece of meat.
Yeah.
There, it's like it melts in your mouth, and it
is a whole new level of filet.
It's so good.
But I mean, and I'm not even a huge blue cheese fan.
They melt blue cheese on the top of it.
I mean, really,
and a good glass of red wine. I'm like, oh my! Well, a martini. You have to start.
Oh, I had the Danny O's, which was great.
What is that?
It's a tequila drink. It's really good. So if you're at Craig's, the Danny Ocean, it's the way to go.
It's called Danny Ocean.
Yeah, they just.
I heard
Danny
you guys
O's.
saying that, and I was getting jealous because I didn't know what that was, but I just kept saying martini.
Right.
I just stuck with
it was kind of a. It wasn't really a margarita, but it was a tequila based drink that was awesome. Basil jalapeno. It was great.
You are a different bird. You fascinate me.
Really?
Yeah. So
it's a mutual fascination society we have going here.
Yes. But I'm just like, I was like, there's so much about you. There's so many different cool levels of you. Like, we went out 2 nights ago and a friend of mine joined us. And her and
Buddy,
and they talked for like hours about tequila.
Yeah, that was a fun conversation.
And I was like wondering, like, am I going to have to get Buddy and Molly, like Molly Collie, going or get them on the same page? Am I going to have to work? Should I just hung out with Molly and not ask them to visit with us? And then I was like, oh, this is amazing. You guys hit it off.
Yeah,
talked the whole time, and I just got to sit quiet. It was kind of hard for me, but I just got to listen. It was great.
It was a fun conversation. I mean, I think it doesn't take much really if you just are open to having a conversation with somebody. You'll find something common connection.
Yes.
And he did kind of remind me of my youngest brother too. He had kind of a vibe of my youngest brother, who's a super fun guy.
Yeah.
As well. My other brother's fun too, but he looked a lot like my youngest brother. So that was easy. I mean, he was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it was fun too because I feel like I've known you forever.
No, there is some weird sort of old soul. I mean, I'm not sure how much I believe in past life kind of things, but it is like somewhere in there. Like when I decided I was going to come to the workshops, like there's a reason I need to come. I need to know Leigh somehow. Something's drawing me there.
And then when you were here, I feel like you live here and you're over all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
I just came back this morning. I'm like, Molly, we're going to do our podcast soon. Hi, good morning. And you're like, you're in the same outfit. I'm like,
yeah, that was okay. I would have been, but I didn't eat pizza and sleep in mine. So
I had a whole thing going on after I left.
But I wouldn't have looked this good if I had slept in mine. It would have been, I could have had Don King blonde hair.
I know. I was a little.
When it was super short, it looked like Billy Idol in the morning. I mean, it was, yeah. So now it's just, it looks like I slept on it because I did.
So, Molly Collie, I want to talk about your first marriage.
Okay.
Just because there's been so many interesting twists and turns in your life.
Yeah.
And you were married to, was he your high school sweetheart, Ray?
College
sweetheart.
Yeah, we met like the first month of college.
Would you please share what happened when you saw him? You were like,
oh yeah. And I have a friend, Shelly. I don't know if she'll catch this, but Shelly was with me. It was the day before school. It was the day after we'd pledged to sorority, and that whole night before was kind of like we were in the same clothes. I'm pretty sure, sitting in the dorm. And he came walking through, almost 6'11" of him, and
6'11".
Yeah, back in
I
those
like
shorts.
tall guys too.
He was super cute.
Because then you feel like a little petite flower.
He was beautiful. So he walked by, and I don't know if you remember this or when you were in high school, but if you would get up and like pretend to follow somebody, like, and they didn't know. So that's what I did. And I came down and I just said, I'm going to marry that guy. And they're like, you don't know if he's even like a freshman. You don't even know. He could be married. And I went, well, he's in the dorm, so he's probably not married. I'm pretty sure he's not. And then I met him about a month and a half later. There was a basketball player who was supposed to introduce us, and his girlfriend lived next to me in the dorm. And so I said, when are y'all, going to set us up or whatever? And so then they didn't. And I was on my way to chapter meeting, which was one of the few nights a week I didn't have a visor on my head and sweats. And I walked up and I tell my friend, I said, wait just a second. I walked over to him and I said, hi, I'm Molly Collie. You need to meet me. We need to go out. I got to go right now, but figure this out. Get back with me. It's on, and I walked away. And he was about as red as the couch in this room. And then he recovered and he asked me out, and then that was that. And we got married in college.
Cute.
Which
I know. I was like, who gets married in college?
I don't recommend. Yeah, I don't recommend that, just because when you marry somebody in college, especially he was playing sports, we were still in school. That's your first job. Your relationship is not your job, like it should be, because you're trying to get out of school. So I don't recommend that. I still would have married him. And then we went through infertility. It took us like 6 years. Got our twins. We were now 23.
Did you do in vitro?
I did. First try. So we put literally all the eggs in one basket, because we'd done other things. We had tried insemination. I'd had miscarriages. Yeah.
Isn't it a crazy ride to have kids?
Yeah, it is. And I had miscarriages. I had an ectopic pregnancy. I mean, we went through the ringer on stuff, and he was an only child. And his dad was an only child. And so we found out later there was some other issues along the way that was like, oh, this is why this is tripping us up. But we had him at 31. I was 31 when I had my kids. Yeah.
And I think that, isn't it when you're struggling with infertility and you want to have a baby, it becomes an obsession.
It's
like
all
a full-time
consuming.
job.
Yeah, it's all
You
consuming.
can't get your mind out of it.
No.
Every person you see with a baby makes you sick, or hurts your heart.
Well, yeah, and the shots. You have to do shots, and it takes away
so
all
much.
level of intimacy of what should be a beautiful thing that you're trying to create with this partner or the person that you love. And so it becomes a job. And so it was quite a relief. And then we went through, and then it wasn't over. I had a really traumatic pregnancy. They were early. I went blind.
What?
After I delivered, because I had toxemia. And when they decided, usually when you deliver, then it's done. Well, I didn't, and my blood pressure shot up in my retinas. I like to say they just popped off. My retinas popped off, but they detached. And so I really couldn't see for 3 months.
Oh my gosh. Did you wonder if they were going to reattach?
They did, all on their own.
On their own. Did they say they'll come back?
And then my 20/20 vision came back right then too. It was really crazy. But so my children were, in the neonatal intensive care unit initially. It was a really traumatic thing. There was a point in there where I thought it was just going to be he and my daughter. We thought my son was going to die. We thought I was going to die, and it was crazy. So that's why they're the only children that have come out of me. And then Ray died when we were 40. He was after a traffic accident he was hit head on by a drunk driver.
Was he was in his car?
He was in his car, and he was actually passing, and this guy had been on the other side of the highway and bounced off into a field and went completely across the median and came over and hit him head on. And I did see him. In the hospital. I talked to him in the hospital. And
he was alive in the hospital?
Yeah. They called me. I got to the ER. And then he died the following day. And this will be 15 years in December. And he
was he mangled?
No, it was really interesting. He had broken his legs and his left arm. He was in a brand new Tahoe. I think that's probably what saved him for me to even see him. But because he was so, and I didn't know this. This is a really interesting thing that I found out later, but it was a traumatic type of injury that happens when your femurs are broken. And I am not a medical person. So someone's going to go, well, that's not right. Well, I'm just telling you what they told me.
I am a doctor.
But that's what they told me. My friend who's a trauma surgeon. So they put rods in your femurs when your femurs break. And especially someone that big. I mean, the femur bone has the largest amount of bone marrow in your body. And so fat globules in the marrow come out and go up in your bloodstream and kill you like a pulmonary embolism. It goes to your heart basically and kills you like that. And there's nothing to stop it. Like if a blood clot, they can stop it if they catch it in time with some clot busting drugs, but not with a fat embolism. And so that killed him the next day. I saw him in the hospital, go tell the kids because it was late at night when it happened. And then a few hours later, he's gone. It was crazy. Crazy.
I just can't even believe it.
Yeah. My kids had just turned 9 2 weeks before.
Oh, they were just so little.
Yeah. It was right before Christmas.
And that's so
it was really, nuts. And now, sadly, my children have lived longer without their father than they did with them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can they remember him still?
They do. No, they remember him. And that's the thing that was interesting when he passed away. And I can remember they were being young and you're grieving for this person that's obviously important to you. But I was having to grieve for what they didn't even know was going to happen yet. Because I could see we've got going into high school, we've got prom, we've got homecoming, we've got sports, we've got, high school graduation, college graduation that he wasn't going to be there for.
Oh.
So yeah, but we've had wonderful people along the way.
And I'm feeling it right now like it just happened, but you've, how many years ago?
It'll be 15 in December.
So you've processed it. I'm processing it right now. I'm like, I want to just hold your hand, but you're like, no, things have happened since then.
Yeah, and I think, I read a quote just the other day that I can't remember it all, but it was essentially how grief is. It's not like a 3-week process or a month. I mean, it is a continual thing. What we always say about Ray is that, and his friends too, people who knew him, he's just always missed. He's always loved because it's still an active loving of him, this person who's lost.
And I love so much the photos. We'll have to share a couple on this feed. Mm-hmm. I love so much the photos you have of him with your kids.
Oh, yeah.
And that one of him sitting in the lake, or was he was just sitting on a stump?
Oh, yeah, he was sitting on a stump in the lake. That was my best friend's daughter, who was the little girl who's in that one picture. Yeah.
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 And what else I loved about you and Ray is you had 2 other couples.
Yeah, we were great friends with 2 other couples.
Thick as thieves, the 6 of you.
Yeah.
And you took trips together. Tell the story about when you were taking a new couple, right? With you to Santa Fe.
We went to Santa Fe.
They were driving to Santa Fe. All 6 of them in a Suburban.
Okay. Oh, you want to know how we set them up?
It just made me laugh. Yeah.
How we set them up. So I'm going to protect. I'm just going to call her the BFW. I'm not going to say her name because she'll be so embarrassed. But we were.
What's the BFW stand for?
The best friend wife. Because when we go on trips. She knows how I like my coffee. I know what side of the room she wants to stay on. Yeah. Closest to the bathroom or closer to the air conditioner. So we know that. So I was like, it's like your partner, your spouse. And we know things. But anyway, so we were going on this trip. Ray was driving. We're in a Suburban. We all have children at this point. Mine are probably 6-7 months old. So we're going. And we had been teasing this other couple, best friend and wife and her husband, that when we get to Santa Fe, we're swingers. That's what we decided we were going to tell them because they'd never been. And then they would do this kind of like, ha, 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 sort of looking like, it's not really funny. We don't know if you're serious or not kind of look on their face. And so we're driving down the highway and Melissa and I, the wife of one of my other friends, I guess I shouldn't use her real name, but she has also passed away. So, and she would think it was funny. But anyway, she puts names on a piece of paper and she and I are in the middle seat. Ray's in the front. Her husband is in the other front seat. And best friend, wife, and her husband are in the very back. And so Melissa shakes this little thing and she just takes it up and holds it up to Ray, who's driving, who just like picks it up and goes, Joe, I always get Joe. And they're terrified in the back seat. I mean, they just start grabbing each other like,
Because they were like,
what
wait,
is
they're not only
happening here?
swingers, but
We
the men
thought-
go with men?
yeah. And they were like, we thought we knew them. We go out to dinner. We don't do this. We thought they leave the state and they go crazy because we were, crossing state lines. So who knew? And so we scared the crap out of them. And if they could have kicked out the back of the Suburban and ran home, I think they would have. And so, but it was just so Ray for him to go, Joe, I always get Joe. And everybody and we kind of kept it up for a little while, really made them nervous. But it was like, not only do they swap, but they do all kinds of mix and swap.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit, we could be with a guy now?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing I love too is when you got to
Yeah.
Santa Fe, they all took pictures with who they pulled.
Yeah. Well,
This
Ray
is
didn't
what
take
the
him with
couples-
Joe. We decided to keep it a hetero combination there. But it was kind of our running joke after that. Yeah.
It made me laugh so hard. So you were just like snuggling up to that other husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Best friend's
picture.
wife. Yeah. Husband. Yeah. Yeah. So it was funny. And then there was Ray, who was like almost 7 feet tall, and Melissa, who was 5 feet tall.
Yeah, so she was
Yeah.
curled up like on his side.
Yeah, and they were and I a long time ago, the first time I ever wrote anything kind of down, I did like a little book story. There's a deal called National Novel Writing Month, which is November, and I found this website, and you're supposed to write 50,000 words in a month, and so I did, and I wrote a story that was about the six of us, and it was about how Melissa passed away of cancer in 2005.
Okay, so real quick, so there's
Yeah.
3 couples.
Yeah,
And Joe's married to
Melissa.
and you're married to Ray, and Ray dies.
Right.
And then
10 months later,
10
Melissa
months
died.
later,
Melissa died of cancer. Yeah.
Joe's wife Melissa dies.
Yeah. So that.
So
the-
2 from the 6 were gone.
Yeah.
So quick.
Yeah, it was crazy. We put both of their remains actually are in Santa Fe.
Oh,
So
sweet.
different periods of time, obviously, but we took them both there because we had so much fun there. I mean, you wouldn't think after the trip where we were like teasing Lori and Jason. I just spilled your names, Lori and Jason. You're now on
my
live.
podcast. You're
On
welcome.
the podcast, BFW and her husband. But they, you would have thought they would have never gone back to Santa Fe with us after
No.
that, but they liked it. So
Now I went to Santa Fe one time,
okay,
maybe 20 years ago or something. My sister and her husband, and I was so in love with Santa Fe, how it looked,
Yeah.
the vibe, and now that I'm more into spiritual stuff, I'm so excited because we're going to go together.
yeah,
And she knows it like the back of her hand, and that's
I
my
love
favorite way to go places with people who know what they're doing, not me just walking around with a map. I can't do that.
No, I love that place, and its nickname is the City Different, and there really is. And I have rituals when I go because I've gone for so many years. Certain things I do when I hit town.
So
We'll
we're
do
doing
it.
that.
We'll do it.
We're going to walk the labyrinth. I can't even say that word right.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
The labyrinth.
Labyrinth?
Labyrinth.
Is that it right?
Yeah, you did
I'm
good.
a big girl now.
So proud.
Thank you.
I'm so proud. Yeah, at the St. Francis Cathedral is a great labyrinth, and
We're going to light a candle.
We're gonna
walk
go in
around
and
there.
Yeah,
And then you met a really amazing 5-star chef last time you went.
I did.
And
yeah.
we're going to go eat there.
I'm hoping when we plan it, I'm hoping the restaurant's back open. Unfortunately, they had a little bit of a fire in his upstairs office back end of May, 1st of June. And so, but he's opened another restaurant, an Italian place. So, but I'm hoping
But didn't you
Saison-
just eat there?
I ate there in April at the one. And then like about 4 weeks later, 5 weeks later, they had a little bit of a fire upstairs, but they're redoing the place. But I think he was going to have it back ready. And it's called Saison. And I will just tell anybody it's one of the best meals I've ever had. And best friend wife is a
Her
cook,
best friend
and-
wife is a chef.
And she's a
And
foodie.
she said
and
it was like her best meal.
it was like, yeah, in her top 2. It was great.
And a really cool guy.
Yeah, the chef
The
is
chef.
awesome. Who's from Mexico City, and he had other restaurants there in Santa Fe, and now he's opened this Italian one called Cesala. So
I can't
yeah,
wait.
so shout out to Chef Fernando Olia and
Hey,
Saison.
Fernanda Oya.
Yeah, and Cesala. They're both great places. And I have no doubt Cesala is going to be awesome. I can't wait to go check it out, and it's been packed. So
I'm excited to hang out with you in Austin too.
yeah, no, I mean, this is great news.
This is fantastic.
Look at you surprising me like that on the Facebook and saying, yes, I'm coming to Austin.
I'm coming to Austin. I just
so
remembered. 'Cause
happy.
I was like, I've never been there, but I'm going there sometime. Yeah.
And you've never been.
I've never been. I don't know.
Wow.
You know the guy that was going to come on the show the other day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Josh Hopkins.
Right.
He's moving to Austin.
That's what you said. I'm real curious as to what we'd be taking him there. I mean, there are other people who are based out. I mean, Matthew McConaughey
a lot of people are going there.
Well, Matthew McConaughey, has a house, but he also went to University of Texas too. So he's a big fan. He goes to support that team.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, something about Matthew McConaughey bothers me, and I don't know if it's because he just always looks sideways and whispers. I don't know.
Well, it was really interesting. So there's a cool independent film place there in town, and Richard Linklater, the director, is very involved. He lives in Austin as well, and it's the a film society, and they have a cinema. And so my son and I went to a premiere of White Boy Rick, which is Matthew McConaughey was in, which was a really cool story. He was kind of the supporting actor. He played the dad in it, but they spoke. Both he and Linklater were talking afterwards. Of course, Linklater is the one who put him in Dazed and Confused, in that iconic role that he has. And so, anyway, it was great. And he did a great Q&A. And what's really cool about McConaughey, there's lots of fandom for him in Austin because he's so tight in university.
Yeah, a lot of
but
girls
he's
are
very
crazy for him.
cool in person. He's just very
He's a good
real,
guy.
Yeah, down to earth, about his family, about his mama.
Aw.
And took great questions. My son asked some questions, visited with him afterwards. Just really a cool guy.
Just a good guy.
Yeah, he's just a good guy.
Well, I'm going to open my mind and heart a little
Yeah,
bit
me
more
too.
about him.
About Matt. All right.
All right.
Me too. Yes, I'm a fan. I'm not
Why
promoting
did he
for him,
say
but I
all right,
really
all right,
liked-
all right? What was that?
It was in Dazed and Confused.
Oh, I think I have to rewatch that.
Which was filmed in Austin. There's places that we know from the movie, and that really looked like a lot of my growing up time. Actually, that movie, when I went to see it, I went, "Oh wow, I know those people." Yeah,
That is a riot.
yeah.
That's a
So I
riot.
know those characters in that show.
Okay, so can we keep talking about your personal love life?
Well, that depends. There may be saying I'll say no comment. We'll just see.
No, I'm not going to say anything like some of the stuff I know.
Yeah.
And
Please don't tell all you know. That's for another show.
yes.
That's the other podcast for gonna
Wait, what did you call that one?
Sexcapades.
Sescapade. That
That one is the one where we tell the everybody, now put your children to bed, people, before we start
Yes.
talking.
It's Sescapade time.
That's right.
Get your martinis out.
Exactly. With a shaker.
So I want to talk a little bit about, I always say his name wrong. Joe.
Joe.
I got it right. I always call him Bob or something else wrong. I know. It's like, it's one of those names that just
Yeah.
kind of, Joe.
Yeah.
So
Joe and Melissa were a part of the couples, and we were
they're best friends.
Yeah, we're all best friends, and
then your husband dies, his wife dies.
right, and so we were all still friends. And his daughter, my bonus daughter, she's the same age as my kids.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you because
No,
you
that's
just
fine.
started telling the story I asked you to tell. But they all went, the five of them went with you back to Santa Fe.
Right,
So it was just
there were
'Cause-
5 of us who went, to take Ray's remains. Yeah,
to take Ray's remains. They all went together to
Yeah.
do that. And it was so sweet to see the picture of just 5 of you.
yeah,
It was you and then the couples.
yeah,
I was like, it's just so, life is so weird that one day he's in the picture
yeah.
and the next day it's his ashes being.
And it really was a celebration. I mean, truly, the guys, we walked around that town, and again, this is not how you're supposed to legally dispose of remains, and y'all can't come after me because it's been that long. But we would go into a bar or something, and we'd go, he liked this bar, and whoosh, and just throw ashes on the ground. And he loved this place for breakfast. Whoosh, was there. Ray was a really big man, so there's lots of his
lot of
remains.
ashes for a 6'7" man.
And we would go to 10,000 Waves.
6'11", right?
Yeah, we went to 10,000 Waves. We had a little ceremony before we did the hot tub stuff that we had done. And he's up there in the mountains too. So it was a real celebration of all of us being together because we always enjoyed it. And then we went back and took Melissa's remains. She died in 2005, and we took hers.
They all went back.
Yeah, and we all said, the 4 of us said, we need to stop this. We don't need to be doing this anytime soon again.
Yeah, but Melissa came to your husband's ash release,
Right.
and that was her last trip there, right?
It was
She
her
died
last
not
trip. Yeah,
too
she
long
died in
ago.
October. That was in March, and she died in October. And it was her last. It was her last trip, and she went to MD Anderson like the next week, and she had said, I need to go to the doctor. Can we put off the trip? And I said, well, Ray's not going anywhere, so we'll make it work. But she said, we need to go, and I don't know what. It seems like there's some things developing with her cancer, and I said, well, Santa Fe's your spirit home. And so if you have to go and you have to go face this, and this is a place where you feel really connected, then if you can make that trip, I think you should make the trip. And I had a feeling that was going to be her last chance to go. And then not too long after, she started to have a decline, and travel or those kinds of things would have been out of the question. So I was glad that she got to go there one more time.
Yeah.
For that. That was a very special trip.
And that was great that you said that too.
Yeah.
To allow her to go.
Yeah. And I said, we'll do whatever you want. But I just felt like, if you can go and have this wonderful weekend with all of us, our version of church, of community, and get together and have this spiritual experience. And then you go and you face what you got to face at MD Anderson. And then when she got to MD Anderson, they said, there's really not much more we can do. So if we had put it off, that would have been the same answer.
Yeah.
And
she would have missed the trip. And
yeah. So, so it was
great.
Yeah, it was a really lovely, the reason was sad, but then it was a lovely trip to spend time together.
So when did you, because you were hanging out with Joe.
Yeah. So Joe,
you've always loved him.
I've always loved him. He's always been one of my dearest friends. And they actually moved. We all lived in Lubbock when we met, Lubbock, Texas. We're home of Texas Tech. And we
go Texas Tech.
Go Texas Tech. In fact, Joe grew up in Independence,
Missouri.
Yes, I know, another connection. And they came to Tech.
Your husband and Joe are of Kansas City.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and they came to law
Chiefs?
school. Yeah, of course they do. But he came to law school there. Joe and Melissa, they're a few years older than Ray and I. So they came to law school there. And then they used to go watch Ray at the basketball games because they were like, this is like our hometown guy. They didn't know him. And then we all became friends later. It was just crazy.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. So anyway, but they moved away. He's been gone from Lubbock Lake for 22 years. So they moved to the Metroplex, Fort Worth, DFW area. And, but I had stayed in touch because his daughter was about 2 when they moved. And so when her mother died, 10 months after Ray, she was about to turn 10.
Aww.
So they, the 3 kids lost these children were in the bathtub together. They've known each other their whole lives.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things I had Melissa and we didn't have a lot of conversations about her potentially dying, but we did. She said, no, listen, you need to make sure you stay in touch with Maggie. So we did. And so that was
wow. It's so
wonderful.
Weird to know you're going to die.
Yeah.
And to say to your friend, please look after my daughter.
Well, and she was till the end, she said, I'm not gonna die. But if I did, and I'm like, yeah, okay, So but anyway, so we stayed friends, and when I would work in town, we would go and we'd hang out. We'd go have steak, because Joe and I like a good steak at Ruth's Chris, downtown Fort Worth.
Not quite as good as Craig's, but good.
He would really like that Craig steak with the blue cheese. He would like that. Because that was something good.
I love it so much.
Oh my God, it was so good. So I would go and visit. But then fast forward, Melissa passes away in 2005. So really about 2011. So a long time after the fact, we decided that we liked each other.
I know, because didn't you feel it first?
I did. I had a moment. I called my Joe moment where I was like, we were, having cocktails. I seem to do a lot up. I mean,
me too.
I don't have them every day, honestly. Well, I don't know. But anyway, so we're going to stick to that story. But I was up there hanging out, and I just was with him. He was with some other people who were lawyers, and I remember just thinking, oh, I just love my Joe. Oh.
But you realized you really loved him.
I loved it, and he was my Joe, as in my friend, not just Melissa's husband, Joe.
Yeah.
He would always been my friend too. But it kind of dawned on me. But I didn't say anything to him then, because I just thought, we were both involved in other things.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't be able to keep my pie hole shut.
Yeah.
I would have been like,
and I also thought
Joe,
it would scare him, because there's that
like
risk that you run with people, even somebody who's your good friend. They go, oh no, I never would have thinking you that way at all, ever.
Well, then you could have just said, it's on. Yeah. Like you did to Ray.
Well, that's true. I could have said that, but that's not exactly how it went initially.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
so you felt it, and then what happened?
Yeah. And then he had kind of a moment the next year.
Year.
So that was like 2008 when I had that. And then like 2009, he had kind of a moment. We were having dinner, and he had sort of the same, he called it kind of his Molly moment. And he was like, well, maybe, kind of thing. But he also didn't say anything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So then 2 years after that. So 3 years after I have my moment, we're having dinner at Ruth's Chris, and we call it Ruth's Chris Day. It's like a holiday in January. We call it Ruth's Chris Day. But when we were kind of sitting there, and we're just like, and I told him, he was dating somebody, and I said, so you're still dating her? And he's like, yeah. So, but, she would marry me, but I'm never getting married again. And I said, well, you'll think this is funny because best friend wife Lori thinks we should get together. Because we had gone to get nails, and she goes, "You're going to see Joe. Why don't y'all just get together?"
And she's the third in the couple.
Yes,
and they're both still together.
Yes, still
alive.
together. Yeah. And so it was just funny. She was like, "Well, we really like Joe. We really miss him. So y'all should get together." I'm like, "Because this is about y'all." She's like, "Yeah, pretty much."
Mm-hmm.
So, and I tell him that, and then his reaction was not what I thought it was going to be. He was sort of like, "Oh no. Come to town. I need to take a nap. You just wear me out." I'm like, and I told the bartender, I was like, I had expletives involved in that conversation, but I said something like, either he needs to have more to drink so he doesn't feel when I run him over the car, or or cut him off because I'm running him over with the car. Because I was like, really, dude? Really? And so then he was like, no. I mean, and then we knew we liked each other. And so, and then we got married. We got married in Santa Fe. We had a wonderful.
Oh,
we got married in Santa Fe.
This is like a movie.
Yeah. And when we go, there's this great church, the Chapel of Loretto. And Joe actually was the one who said, I think we should do this there. Because it has this magical staircase, miracle staircase, not magical, I guess. That they don't. It's miracle kind of a magical place, but there's no supporting. And it's a sort of a mystery about who came in and built this to go to the choir life. It's a kind of a really cool thing. But anyway, they do weddings there now. And so we did it there, and we just had our kids. And a cousin of my dad, who's an ordained minister in Albuquerque, came over and did the ceremony. It was great. And we went to our favorite places to eat, and we just had our kids with us. And it was great. Yeah, it was wonderful. And that's one of our favorite places to go. I mean, truly. And we got married on Cinco de Mayo, because we figured if we were old and senile, there'd still be a party somewhere because it's Margarita Day. So tequila's involved. So it was wonderful. And he's still one of my dearest friends. So yeah, it's great.
You guys divorced.
We did.
How long after?
I was a few years after. Just not, there were things that came up and that we needed to do that. Separate things. Yeah. So, but it's great. We still spend a lot of time together. We still see each other. Still love him. He's still my Joe.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Yeah. So I mean, he is
such
one of my favorite
interesting weave in and out of people. Like the solid. I just like the solid three of you, like the couples.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really special.
It's really special because I was thinking with Dave, like we have friends, like different friends, but we don't have we didn't have like travel.
I think what's interesting about that is that I think a lot of times when you're older and you make friends, some of that is done because your children like go to school together or you have play dates. And so then it kind of is this evolution. When the six of us all got together, it was because of all things the junior league, which is really kind of frightening to think I was in the junior league. But they're frightened about it, that service league, women's kind of volunteer service league type of thing. And, it's not like when we were in a sorority, which we're Pi Phis. We're both Pi Phis. I know we're Pi Phi sisters. So, but it's, they do volunteer work and things like that. And it was kind of a big deal in Lubbock. And that's how we all met. We were actually all in this women's service league and they have little provisional classes, kind of like pledge classes, but that's where you start and then you become active member and you're doing volunteerism and that thing. So that's how we met. But so instead, our children didn't bring us together, so when the children grow up, a lot of times people don't stay necessarily as connected because the kids go off and do different things.
Right.
Only one of the couples had kids. Lori and Jason had their daughter, Rachel, who's now 30. And that's the little girl that was in that picture that you saw with Ray when they're at the lake and he's holding her hand. So she was our buddy. She went everywhere with us. That child slept in more booths and more restaurants. And when she would get cold, we would just place napkins over her. That's a true story. So she was she was the mascot. She went everywhere. But so we were able to stay connected because it wasn't about our kids. We developed a relationship, which is harder as you get older. I mean, it is harder to find those really substantial friendships, I think. And you get pickier and you're like, I only have so much time. So I'm going to have just these few people.
I'm excited because you're my new lifelong friend. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited.
I'm Team Leigh.
You're Team Leigh,
Leigh.
Which helps.
Yeah.
Which brings me great joy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have fun with you.
Oh yeah.
And we already are having fun.
We already are having fun, but you've also been such a huge help for me because I think I didn't know what a mastermind was, and it was so interesting too. Even the workshop in March what I learned, because there's a point, and I don't want to spoil anything because people need to come to a Messy
No,
Imperfect
you can talk
Life.
about it because it will do different stuff.
Right.
as well.
But I think what I learned, there was this point about a pebble. There's just something about our lives from the past that maybe has colored things in a certain way. Maybe your decisions or whatever. And as children, we're so literal about what's happening that we take these very literal leaps. We make these narratives in our head. And I had to kind of work at it because I was like, I don't know if I have it. But it opened up a lot of conversation, or reminders of conversation that I needed to have with my mother and my brothers, for that matter. We had something like, this happened to me. Yeah, kind of thing.
Like open up conversation.
Yeah, it opened a conversation and healing, as it does, and why you've done things, or speaking of me, have done things along the way. Because of that, they call there is a way to trace that back.
Yeah.
Hugely helpful. And so that was great. And then, I already knew that I liked you, but I mean, from that capacity, it's been great. The mastermind yesterday helping me kind of be on track. That time was well worth spent. Me saying that, and you're like, no, I think you should connect this. I mean, that's what it needs. That's what nobody does these things by themselves. And so it really does take a team. And
it's so nice to, when you're doing a project like Write and Book, to collaborate with someone.
Absolutely.
And to get feedback. And sometimes when I give feedback, where I say, I was kind of thinking this or this, and you're like, no, I like it how I have it. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because it solidifies it helps you solidify what you like. Yeah. And then the other parts, you're like, yeah, I didn't really care about that anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was making you do it fast too.
Yeah.
Say the title and give me one story.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I don't really have a story. So I put a kind of a week.
Which was great, because those things that from that book, those things came up 5 years ago, because it was about kind of turning 50, and I'm already 55.
Talk a little bit. What were we calling it?
What did we decide? We changed the name.
I think it's on that pad of paper.
Yeah, I can't remember.
You want to hand that to me, sweet Ben? Look how good you are, Ben. You want to show your face today?
Jump on in, Ben. Well, Hi, Ben.
I got a beard.
I like it, but I like
He's
the
so
hat.
cute.
This one right here.
He looks like a camp counselor today.
Today he's camp.
He's camp counselor Ben.
Oh, no, not that one. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you need this one?
Yeah. No, I don't need that one. Don't pick it up. No, I don't want it anywhere near me. Okay. I told you not to pick that up.
Okay, well, it's back down on the ground. I didn't pick it up. I just moved it.
I liked too yesterday when you said you were driving and you had this. Oh no, when you were walking the labyrinth.
Oh yeah.
You said that this thing popped in your head, and I wrote it down because I liked it. The path. What?
The path is a gift.
The path is the gift. While she was walking on this path.
Yeah, the labyrinth. It's in Santa Fe. Yeah, I was there. I used to work in Santa Fe a lot. I used to have that in my territory, and I was there. We were about to have an alignment change, as we do in the world of pharmaceuticals in particular. There's a lot of changes, and so I knew I was about to get on a conference call, and I'd never walked a labyrinth, which I think is a really cool.
I haven't either. I'm excited.
We're going to do that. We're going to do it, but it's interesting because I didn't know what to expect, and so I just kind of went in, as we've talked a lot about. You just go open heart, open mind. When you walk
expect nothing, and then it's all glorious,
and it just comes to you. And it was like the path is the gift. So
the path is the gift, and what I love about that is, wherever you are on your path, even if you're going uphill and there's thorns poking your legs, it's still a gift.
Yeah, you're still going to learn something that you need to learn on that way, that's going to take you into what the next thing that you have to do.
Yeah, and you were talking too with your book that there was, when 50 hit, I hit back.
Yeah. Well, originally it was when I hit 50, hit back, but then we decided it was like, what did we say? It was I hit 50.
I guess I have to put on my reader. Oh,
I think it was I hit 50.
Yeah. Oh, you wrote the title was Midlife Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Was that?
I think so. But I think
50 hit me, and I hit back.
Yeah.
So what I liked too about that was that you turned 50, and then you got like cold cocked, right? And the whole trajectory of your life went sideways when you thought you knew what was coming.
Right.
You were like,
set.
Finally, I'm here. I'm at 50.
Set.
I'm set.
Yeah.
And then your foundation
stuff happens, and it happens to everybody. I mean, I think
it happened to me too.
Yeah, it happens to everybody. And I really do think, especially with the things that had happened prior with Ray passing away and losing Melissa, who was my dear friend, and just things, and my father passed away 6 years ago. So you have all these things that happen that are going to happen because you have been blessed to live long enough to have things happen. But I really did. I thought I got to 50 and thought, oh my God, this is magic time,
I got this
man.
guy, just gonna kick it.
Oh yeah. And then I got to kick it. All right. I got to kick it, the can down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Whatever happened, was it with Joe or something?
Yeah, I mean, it was having to make changes that way in our relationship, which we still have one. We just had to shift what it looked like.
Yeah. And from that shift, other things have opened up for you, right?
Right. Well, for sure. I think I ended up having to go. I needed to move. Well, and it was one of these alignment changes where I didn't have anything where I lived for work. So it was like, I don't need to stay right here. But as it happened, my father had passed away about a couple years before. And so I went and lived with my mom. So I don't live in the basement doing video games, but I didn't have to go back and go, Mom. But it's worked out really well because she's been diagnosed with dementia. So that's kind of the new little challenge.
How's that going?
That's been real interesting. Yeah.
I'm upset. He said we only have 5 minutes left.
Oh my gosh. Well, we can I could talk dementia stories.
Dementia. we'll have to do a sexcapades.
A sexcapades.
And dementia.
And life with aging parents. We can talk, laughing.
Mine both passed, so I don't have to I'm not experiencing dementia.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about your website, your
I have a blog. Yeah.
Talk
WordPress.
about that so people can look at it.
Yeah. So there's two. There's one that's kind of Midlife Molly, which is where I'm talking a lot about the dementia things.
Ooh, I like Midlife Molly.
Yeah, Midlife Molly.
That's better than Midlife Magic.
So, well.
Midlife Molly Collie.
There you go. Yeah. And so that's on WordPress. That is Molly Collie WordPress or mollycollie.wordpress.com. And then there's TX Travel Girl at .wordpress.com, which talked about I was living downtown.
And we'll put
Airstream.
both of those links on this feed so
cool.
people can check it out.
Sure, that'd be great.
And then keep an eye out for her book, Midlife Molly Collie.
It'll be something. Molly Collie will be on there somewhere because that's my name. So.
Yeah, the name. I'm sticking to it.
It's my name. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. It's my story.
Subscribe to my podcast, you guys.
Yeah,
I'll have a link on this thread as well.
There have been so many fun people on the podcast, not counting me today.
You can join her and I on my mastermind. In my mastermind, if you have any idea in your head of something you've wanted to do or longed to do, but you've been afraid to do it, I will help get it out of your head and into your world.
Yep.
And it will manifest because we put it in the calendar and we make the steps to get it done by that time.
Yep.
So you feel free if you want to pull your stuff out and join her and I. We do twice a month a Zoom call for an hour. And then I do accountability calls in between.
Which are important.
Yeah. And they don't happen. You guys have to call me.
That's exactly right.
So I would be going, remember our accountability call? And then Alicia, my assistant's like, no, you don't remind them. That's something, if they call you, great. If they don't, that's their thing.
That's part of the accountability.
Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah. She has to remind me because I'm get overexcited. Like, you guys, it's our accountability call soon. You're like, I can't do it. All right. But anyway, post it. We'll check out her stuff. We'll share our escapades in Austin and in Santa Fe. It's going to come first.
Yeah, that's going to come
We're gonna
first.
do that
with the
soon.
mastermind group. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a guy from Colorado named Todd who's writing a one-man show.
Yeah.
And we set the date. Can you make it in October there? No,
I can't because best friend, wife Lori's, her daughter Macy's getting married that weekend.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yes, I can't be there.
Okay.
Because I'm hand of the mom, the mother of the bride.
Yeah.
So I'm her right-hand person.
Oh, that's precious.
Yeah.
You're a good friend.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I like
so.
seeing how you support women and I like how you support me and I like knowing you and I'm happier in my life.
I'm happy to be in your life. I'm happy to have you in mine.
Thank you. I think that's it.
Yeah, cool.
I like to hug.
All right.
You want to hug?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do that. Let's hug. We can never have enough. Let's hug it. Oh, Collie. That's so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. You're a freaking blast.